Hello, I'm Sim Archangel, and this is the fifth and final part of my Sims 4 Let's Play. This is the house that Kim built, and somewhere inside it is Kim, and there she is. Okay, just get her to go here, please, and we can see she's quite bouncy today. She is energized, and the reason for that is something we did in the last episode. In the last episode, we checked out the neighborhood. We went round Kim's little stamping ground, this little area here, and we collected some, well, collectibles really. We found some of the nodes, and we found, well, there was a fossil there, we've got a fossil there, and we've got a frog there, and both of those are quite nice. They give us a nice room score boost, give us an environment boost of 3 each, but we don't have much in the way of interactions with those, and they don't do anything. We don't have to feed our little froggy there, and he doesn't even move, he just sits there. Okay, so it makes our Sims a bit happier with their environment, but apart from blink and eat the odd fly, we don't even have to. There, you can see, little frog eats the fly, but he feeds himself. We don't need to interact with him in any way. However, this one really is worth it. These are a little bit more rare, the crystals, but they're worth looking for because they have a mood aura. Which we can enable or disable like this, an emotional aura. So I've enabled it, which means that this is making my Sim, Kim, energized. So any Sims that are within the aura or within the influence of this item will be energized. So this would be a very good thing to put in a gym. It's also a good thing to put anywhere, if in any room in your Sim's house, just in case your Sim wants to do any particular activity related to these wishes that we touched on before. We've got Kim wants to do sit-ups. Because she's energized, she can exercise anywhere. So let's get her to do those sit-ups, because that's going to earn us 25 reward points. It's not much, but every little builds up, and so we've got enough to spend on some pretty good traits and reward buffs in there that are worth having. A little bit more on some of those later, probably. Okay, so there we go. She's done that, and she's got also got a wish to enthuse about her interest with someone. All right, so today we are going to do a couple of things with Kim, really, for our last Let's Play. Firstly, she still doesn't have a job. Now, these funds here, they get eaten away every time she pays the bills, and the bills are quite large in this game too. There is no reward to purchase, which gives you no bills, I'm afraid to say, and the bills are larger in this game. So the job, well, it's a necessary evil. We're going to have to do that. So there's a couple of ways we can choose a job. We can click directly on the career tab down here and just click on join a career, okay? Or we can go for the slightly more traditional approach and use the phone. You can also use a computer if you have one, but Kim, currently I have elected not to spend her dwindling funds on a computer, so she's just going to use her mobile phone. The paper option is no longer there because this is the first game of the Sim series which does not have paper deliveries every day. I, for one, am not too bothered by that because I found in Sims 1, 2 and 3 my Sims spent more time throwing them away than they spent reading them anyway, and in Sims 3 I generally cancelled paper delivery. Might bother some people, not me so much that omission. I'm not too sorry to see that one go. So I'm going to get Kim to find a job just by using her mobile phone here. She's in a pretty good mood now and she's confident, so this seems like a good time to do it. Anytime you like, Kim. Thank you. Okay, select a career for Kim. Like in lots of the other Sim titles, all of the other Sim titles, I don't think we have every single career available. There are quite a few to choose from, but as in any Sims base game, there aren't the millions we're used to in The Sims 3 with all its expansions. If you have a particular traits on your Sim that you want to funnel into a particular career, like creativity into writing or something like that, that's a very good idea because those traits will help you to advance in that career. And if you have a specific story to tell, then yes, pick the right career for that too. But you might find you have to look on more than one occasion to get just the right job. I'm not sure if they're all displayed at the same time. You can see if we click through these, we get a good overview of each of the jobs. how much per hour you get, and it does vary quite a lot. The hours your sim will be working and the days of the week they will be working too. The ones marked in red are the days that they get off. So we've got quite a few careers here. I've always fancied the secret agent career. It looks pretty cool to me. I certainly had a couple of Sims in The Sims 3 that followed that. It's one of my favourite career paths. But for Kim, I think it's got to be the criminal career path. Partly because she has a lifetime wish to become a criminal mastermind, and partly because she has the right traits. But also she looks scarily like this Sim here, which is entirely a coincidence, I assure you. Too many coincidences. Okay, so we will have that, in spite of the fact that we can see she's going to be earning an absolute pittance at 9 simoleons per hour, and she's going to have to work every day of the week. Wow. Well, who would choose that? Well, I'm guessing that when she branches her career into boss or oracle, the chances are the top of this career is going to reward her nicely financially. That's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm hoping. Let's select that career. So Kim has entered the criminal career. Kim is now a tough gal at crime, etc. She starts Saturday at 5 p.m. She looks pretty happy about that, and she does look the part, and she even has the tough walk. So let's hope that that career suits her. Now if we just look at the career tab here, that shows us what she's going to require in order to advance in this career. And with 9 simoleons an hour, she is going to need to advance in this career pretty quickly, otherwise her household bills are going to bankrupt her very quickly indeed. So she gets to work tomorrow. You will find that with every sim, no matter what their working days, they will always start, unless they have a day off, they will always start the day after you get them their job. Okay, so she has to work from 5 till midnight, and yeah, she works every single day of the week. Promotion requirements are down here. The first one here is the performance bar, which will be familiar to anyone who's played Sims before, and probably people who've played other games as well. We have to fill that performance bar quite simply. However, how we go about filling it is a little bit more complex than in previous games. There is the obvious way, which is to send your Sim to work with all their needs met. And that will certainly help. But as you can see when we mouse over here, it also says that the ideal mood is for your Sim to be energized in this case. You might not be able to see that, but that's what it says. And that will depend on your career. There will be an ideal mood for your Sim to go to work in that will provide them with a really good performance boost, which is worth attaining. Now for Kim, that's going to be fairly easy because she has this crystal here. All I have to do is make sure that she gets a little bit of time in this room with this energizing crystal. How strange does that sound? In a morning, and maybe do some energizing activities while she's at it, and then hopefully she will go to work in the right mood to get that performance boost. The other thing, if you also mouse over it, we can see is that underneath that it says daily task. Now every career has its own daily task assigned to it, and if your Sim performs that daily task, especially on a daily basis, you will find that your performance meter will again get a decent boost. You're not going to have to do that daily task every day because the performance meter will probably fill up, at least in my experience it does, before you manage to fulfill the other requirements for the job, particularly at the higher levels. Now, mischief interactions, that is the daily task assigned to Kim for this job. Mischief interactions, they are interactions we have to perform with other Sims, so obviously at this point we are going to have to send her off somewhere to interact with other Sims to get that daily task done. As you can see, it says not starting at the moment. The other thing I mentioned is the other requirement underneath here. For this level we only have one requirement, which is to reach level 2 of the mischief skill, which ties in quite nicely with both Kim's traits and the fact that her daily task is mischief interactions. So we'll be able to do both of those skills at the same time, but only by getting her out and about. So the other part of this demo today is the world, visiting the rest of the world. We've done the neighborhood, but the rest of the world is a little bigger than this. It's not huge, but it's bigger than this. So if we click on the road, we can get the travel options. We can travel with, if we know anybody to travel with. Kim doesn't currently have any friends. That's why we're going to try and do something about this. So click on travel. When we do that, it brings up the world map. Oh, good. Okay, and the world map, as you can see, looks a little bit more TS2 than TS3. So rather than the free roaming world map that we can just scroll around, this is quite small. We have a few residential neighbourhoods, varying in price. This is the low value bit of, and then this is the really high desirability, rich neighbourhood for those Sims with lots of simoleons. It's going to take quite a while to get there. We can see all the houses in the residential part of the world which have Sims currently living in them, because they have the plumb bob above. The grey plumb bob means that they are households you haven't played. The green plumb bob is households that you have played. Obviously this lot's not available because I'm already there, but I can visit any of the other houses, including the empty ones. Just watch out for that. There isn't any point going through that loading screen for an empty house. You can't go in it or anything. There's no point. We also have community lots, of course. We have a park, which is in a neighbourhood all of its own. It's quite a big lot, but if you go to the park, you'll then have a load screen to get anywhere else at all. And then we have this commercial strip here, which has got a museum, a nightclub, a gym, and a library attached to it. Just a quick one, we also have 2 worlds that shipped with the base game. The second world is Oasis Springs here, and we can see it's got a bit more of a Mediterranean Moorish architectural theme to it. It's set more desert-like environment, but we can at any time move our Sims permanently or temporarily to these locations. We could relocate and move to any of the available houses here, provided we have the money, of course, or we can come here and visit any of the households or any of the community lots, and you can see that's pretty much the same community lots as the world we came from. So sticking with Willow Creek for the time being, let's check out this commercial zone here. So we're going to go to the Blue Velvet nightclub because it's a nighttime. I think it's probably a good place to go. So now, of course, we have another loading screen. You've got to get used to seeing this green plumb bob in this game. You're going to see it a lot. That's just the way it is, I'm afraid. We are loading up more than just one lot here. We are loading up the entire neighbourhood around it, which is worth visiting as well, just by itself, and is still another good place to meet Sims, as we'll see. And here we are, the Blue Velvet nightclub. Okay, and at 7:30 at night, this is probably a good time to go in here. So we'll send her in here, or she'll probably send herself in. Okay, good old autonomy, and we'll make ourselves a couple of introductions. This is obviously going to be the best way of starting any friendships or relationships whatsoever. Beware of how you start a relationship. The introduction you use will set the tone for the whole relationship. So if you start with a flirty interaction, even by accident, you will set the tone, and yeah, even if you didn't quite mean to do that. Once we've introduced ourselves, we can talk with these Sims, and we can talk with all of them at once, which, as I said before, is quite an efficient way of going about meeting Sims, though it's a less efficient way of getting to know them. Given there is a friendship requirement on our careers, and at certain levels you will have to befriend 6, 8, and even 10 Sims, at the top of the career, it's a good idea to get these relationships going. But if you really want to work on one relationship, the best thing to do is focus on one Sim and not do anything else at the time. Cool as multiple interactions are, they are the most efficient way of getting the job done, much like real life. So we've met Lee here and Zayden, and they're both called Morse. I'm guessing they're husband and wife, or maybe they're related, brother and sister. I don't know. Well, I'm not sure. We could even find out. If we look in our friendship tab, relationship tab, we are just acquaintances with both of them, and without asking, we can't really find out what their relationship to each other is. But what we can do is get to know, and if we get to know, use the get to know interaction, that means that we can find out one of the traits of these Sims. And that's pretty important. We can see we found out that Lee is evil. And if we do the same thing with Zayden, it's in the friendly options, get to know, we should be able to find out one of his traits too. This is useful, more so than it ever has been before. If we found out something about him, he's a perfectionist. Okay, so of these two, it's going to be more worthwhile Kim hanging out with Lee, who shares a trait with her, the evil trait. Because they share a trait, that means they have something in common, which is fairly obvious. But if we use that trait that they have in common for interactions, that bar will fill quicker. Also, because if they have something in common, they will understand each other better, which means that they'll be more likely to become friends. They will build a relationship quicker, more generally, and they will also be more likely to keep their relationship. Relationships can decay quite quickly when the Sims fall, and that's not helped by conflicting traits, but it is helped. Oh, she's acquired the mischief skill. Excellent, you needed to do that. It is helped by having shared traits, so it's worthwhile getting to know a few Sims just to see if they have shared traits, because then it's going to be easier for you to build and keep a relationship with them. So we'll do a few more of these, including that one. And the other thing we need to do, of course, is mischief. We need to crack some mischief in order to get these to go up. But for the moment, I'm just going to leave her to get to know Lee a little bit, because I think that's going to be a worthwhile relationship right there. And we're just going to take a look at the wider neighbourhood here. Again, it's not a very big place, but we can see all of these 4 lots in a row here. We can visit any of them from here, but just like the houses in the neighbourhood, in our own neighbourhood, there will be a loading screen involved. It won't be a very big one, but there will be one. We can meet Sims in any of these places too, and of course there's objects in there to interact with as well. But you don't have to go into any of those other lots. If meeting Sims is your game, well, there are plenty of them just wandering around, and no load screen in the way. I do find the loading screens in this game are a bit of a psychological as well as an actual barrier. It does make you less likely to do things if you can't look over at there and then just go over there. But there we go. There's also places here where you can come and eat. There is always a load of food made by some Sim somewhere, so you're not likely to get hungry. And it's also worth looking to see what harvestables there are in any given neighbourhood, because there may be ones that are different to the neighbourhood that you live in or to neighbourhoods you've visited before. Fishing holes, there's plenty of fishing places here, but there are also some plants here which are all in harvest at the moment. We've got a lily there, we've got an apple tree there, we've got, I think there's a tree over here, we've got a wild apple tree there, and there's a pear tree there which I haven't seen oh no, that's an apple tree too. I know there's a pear tree somewhere, I've seen one. There it is, and I think there's also an onion plant, and I don't know what else around here as well. So it's always useful to check those things out no matter where you are. Now Kim has already found her way to the bar and has ordered some food, if you can call that food. Way to put some pounds on Kim, well done. Okay, however, she is in the bar area, and for that reason she has got something right. This is a very good place to meet Sims. Because while you're here, if any Sims you have not introduced yourself to already, you can do so. And once we're introduced, we can have a 3, 4, 5, 6-way conversation with everybody, including a bartender if you want. And he's a pretty bad bartender. Which means we're meeting lots of Sims and getting to know them. Again, because this is a several-way conversation, we're not likely to get to know any of them very well, but we can do the get-to-know interaction on them, just to see if we can find out one of their traits. We can also do a bit more mischief making. Which charisma level 2. Having a high charisma level also helps your Sims to make and keep friends. Okay, she's freaking out slightly. Okay, she's just started the mischief daily interactions task, so we need to do rather more of that. And you can see the evil in Lee there. And we can talk across the counter, which is always nice. Do you know what? I think he might be evil too. I just get this feeling. He might be a good one to get to know as well. Let's do that. And then we need to use some mischief. Mischief is here, and we can do any of these things. Let's try trick with hand buzzer with this guy here. Who are you anyway? Zayden Morse. Oh, pleased to meet you. Let's try some more of those mischief options. So we can lie about our career. Seems exactly the kind of thing that Kim would do. And we can scare him. And what else? Start a preposterous rumour. Okay, let's do that, and then let's see how that affects this. Your performance bar is not going to move till you go to work, but we can see we have 25% done the mischief daily task. And we're also, you can see by the skill bar while she's doing these mischief interactions, filling that mischief bar so that she will reach level 2. And for some reason, he's liking this. I'm not sure why. Maybe he has the insane trait himself. I don't know. But for some reason, she's not making an enemy here. It takes all sorts, I suppose. I wouldn't have thought being a perfectionist would have that effect. Anyway, so she is part way on her way to achieving her first promotion, which is very good news. And maybe, just maybe, if she puts the effort in, she could make a friend out of Zayden or Rodolfo or Lee. But as I say, it really does pay to put in the effort with the right Sims. So if you can find out the traits, if you find one that your Sim has in common, that is really going to be a worthwhile Sim to pursue for either friendship or romantic purposes. Though, yes, romance can be even more difficult to find and keep, as in real life, than friendship. Okay, so we're going to send my Sim home now because it's nearly 2 o'clock in the morning, and she does have to work in the morning, well, in the afternoon. She might not have to go to work until 5 p.m, but she does have to work, and it does help if you can get their needs sorted out by then and get them in the right mood and all that. So it helps if they get out of bed before noon. I am going to finish the episode before she goes to work because she doesn't go for another 15 hours. That's quite a long time, and the video is quite long enough. But just while we're on the subject of work, there are a couple of options involved in work. As I've already said, there's no work-based rabbit holes or buildings or anything else in The Sims 4, which means you can't pick up a job like that like you could in Sims 3, but it also means that your Sim has nowhere to go when they go to work. They literally just leave their house and you're left watching an empty lot unless you have other Sims that live there. But there are some options that you can do. When your Sim goes to work, or a Sim goes to work, they will get an at work icon just here on their portrait down at the bottom there, and you can, if you click on that while they're at work, you will get the option to change how they're working, so that you can get them to slack off or work hard or practice a particular skill at work or socialise with their co-workers. All of those will have mood or skill based consequences based on what you choose. They might increase their performance, they might increase the skill. You should probably go to bed. Yes, I'm going to send her to bed now. And the other thing is that, like Sims 3, you won't get opportunities, but you will get decisions that will pop up on screen and will allow you to choose. You'll get a decision to make, and there's a right and a wrong option, or either option could be right or wrong. And what I've found is, to start with, you tend to be wrong 90% of the time, or maybe that's just me and my Sims, I don't know. I haven't had that many Sims yet, but the success rate of those and associated performance boosts as opposed to performance loss does seem to go up with time. So that helps spice the working life up a little bit as well. Also, as in Sims 3, careers do have a branch option. When you get to about level 5 or maybe 6, I don't remember, you get the option in any career path to branch in one direction or another. So while there only appears to be a few careers that ship with the base game, they actually all split into 2, and some of them split into 3, so there are more careers than there at first appears. In fact, by and large, I find with this game there's more to it than first meets the eye, and you do have to delve into it a little bit more deeply to find that out. Yes, there are things that are frustrating. Yes, I miss the Sims 3 sense of freedom. I miss being able to see something over there and go over there. I miss being able to just walk from one end of the map to the other. I miss having a swimming pool. Yes, I do. But at the end of the day, there is going to be a lot more content put into this game. And if you think of it as a different game rather than as something that should have absolutely everything that Sims 3 had, plus more, which is perhaps not the most realistic expectation anyway, then maybe you could enjoy it too. Anyway, I hope that I've helped somebody somewhere make a decision about this game, or appease someone's curiosity about it. They've never played Sims before, or not played Sims before, or any of the other Sims, and want to know what it looked like. Here it is. Now you know, and you know how it plays, and you know how it runs. I've had no lag today, even with Fraps running. And if you want to see more, there is plenty out there. There are lots of people doing great things with storytelling. I never set out to do that, but if you want to see somebody burn their house down, organise the wedding from hell, or have 15 babies by different Sims, I'm sure you could find it already. It might not have been out that long, but it's been out long enough. Also in the future, look out just in case I decide to do a Let's Build for Sims 4. I am a Sims builder. This house does not prove it in any way. But if I set my mind to it and take some time, I do love to build houses. And when I get to grips with the new tools in Sims 4, I will try and post some videos about that too. I might even post a retrospective of my favourite Sims 3 builds in the meantime. So I hope you've enjoyed watching. I hope it's been vaguely interesting and helpful. And follow me. See if you can find anything more interesting that I might do in the future. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Sim Archangel. Happy simming.